That's right. It's another twofer. I've got two interviews today. You got to meet Cassie earlier today. I love all the women power that we have here. This amazing person, she's always on my karaoke. We have met during pandemic, although we haven't met in person yet. We're waiting to do that. She has served in our Navy, and she's got a new book that she's going to tell us about. Let's do this. Let's welcome the one and only Olivia Vanessa Baumgart. Hi, Olivia.
Hi, how are you, John?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for letting me be on your show and being a part of this. It really means a lot to me. And I constantly try to collaborate with you because you don't know what an inspiration you are to me.
Aw, thank you, Olivia. Well, every Saturday we get to hang out in my engaging virtual karaoke. By the way, yeah, it's engaging virtual karaoke.eventbrite.com. And if you even if you don't sing, you should show up there because we have fun every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So thank you, Olivia. For my friends who don't know Olivia, and of course in the karaoke realms, you're more than famous. But for my friends who don't know you, can you share a little bit more about who you are and what you do?
Okay, yeah. Wait, John, can we tell everyone the story of what happened before
Yeah,
we
no,
start?
okay.
So, oh my gosh, everyone. So when John, I made a joke. I was not really supposed to be here, but I made a joke to John saying, "Hey, how come I don't get to be in your conference? I know this little secret about filters. I have a really good YouTube video or tutorial on these filters. How come I don't get to be on? I think I have on to something." And then so he said, "Oh yeah, click this link, schedule an appointment, and we'll be in touch." And so I do that. I was like thinking that the interview was to see if I qualify to be on your show. I could not believe you gave it to me right that minute. I was so excited. I'm so excited now. That's why I was like, okay, what? We're doing it. Okay.
Just like
Yeah.
karaoke, that's how it is. You just got to do it. You can't sit there and like think about your song for like 3 hours because the show's over by that. You just
That's
go ahead
true.
and make stuff happen here. So yeah, so that's basically the story behind today's meeting. So
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Olivia. I like my identity is honestly, even though my nonprofit didn't launch, like it did launch, but then COVID bank, like the whole I'm basically it went bankrupt. It bankrupted me. But I still have that as my identity that I was a nonprofit founder and an author of a book, and I was in the Navy and I was in the medical field. And the whole thing about I bring that up because that was how I came to find this secret about Zoom filters. Not the traditional ones that you find on Zoom itself, but you can download this app onto your computer. It doesn't work for Apple though yet. I've yet to find a program for Apple computers, but I have an Acer laptop and it works great. Some of my best photos were taken on this camera app that I'm talking about. But that's what happened. I was taking classes, business classes at the Renaissance Academy in San Francisco for small businesses. And I was sick of looking at my Zoom square and I was like, this is a nightmare. This is horrible. How come it's so advanced everywhere else, but in Zoom, like of all places where it's the future, right? Where everything's gonna be. I think you're the one that told me the statistics of and you probably did, about how Zoom, it jumped from what, 10,000 users to 300,000 or something like that. I
10
don't,
million to 330 million in about 2 months.
yeah, wow, see, that was, oh, so it was you. And yeah, so that, you would think with those numbers, they want to satisfy us and make better filters on the app itself or something, or have options.
So
Not
you'll
for,
love
and
this though, because I attended Zoomtopia this week, and
okay,
the one
and
thing
then
that Eric, who's the founder of it, was touting is at least he kept touting the touch up your appearance feature.
oh my God. And I hate that feature. It does nothing.
I like it. I actually use it, but again,
I didn't think you'd
parents
need
here.
it, John.
You're a
Yeah,
makeup master though, right? Like you used to actually do professionally do some makeup, I think, right?
yeah, I used to well, I used to I don't really tell people this, but I used to do import modeling. That's the Asian version of modeling, the car models. So when I was 100 years ago, when I was a dish, but yeah, I used to do my own makeup for sets, and I do the other girls' makeup, and then I practiced a lot. So yeah, but you know, as good as your makeup looks in person, when you're on Zoom, man, you know, it doesn't translate. It does not translate. So that's why I really like helping girls out, because I know I'm not the only one with this problem. Like I've heard other girls complain, and then I've seen the Zoom apps makeup and how it's it's I don't know how to describe it. It's like another face on your face, like on all moving different directions, and you have 6 different faces all of a sudden. And I can't believe you got to talk to the owner of Zoom. I hope he's not watching, and then I'm gonna be very embarrassed.
I think you saw the one that is the newest this this was in beta. I guess this is actually official now. Like I can do things like this. Like one, I can give myself a beard. But now the worst part about it is I'm going to turn my face. Now let's see if I'm going to lose this. Tell me when I lose it.
No, okay. No, it's actually good. So they changed. So you have,
I don't
okay, okay, yeah, yeah, no, it was floating up in the air like a butterfly.
Yes, I have my own butterflies to mess up this whole thing,
Oh
right?
yeah. So yeah, from what I checked, it does exactly that. And that's embarrassing. I think that's embarrassing. And then, but you know, if you go on Instagram, those filters are so realistic. You know, they're very good. So I'm wondering why it is not Zoom not buying the person that's making the Instagram filters for Zoom.
I don't
And
know.
I
But Christian Rourke, who was at the conference with us, gave you a shout out on Twitter, by the way. So
just right now.
yeah,
Oh no, he's probably like, make your bed.
but he sounds like you were like in the Fast and Furious type of mindset, right? If you're in the cars and the motorcycle, right?
Oh, what do
Like
you mean? Are you talking about just now?
no, the
Or
modeling, like when you're
oh,
doing modeling with fast cars and motorcycles, right? That's like Fast and the Furious type
that's
of.
actually what my book is about. It's like, it's
Oh,
kind of like, it's kind of, I don't want to say like Fast and the Furious, but it does talk a little bit about that scene. Um, the import modeling scene, and a lot of oh no, it's gonna get dark. It's a little bit dark. I wasn't ready to talk about that. I don't want to bring people down. What do you think?
well, we'll talk about your book first, right? I don't know. Like, I don't know that about your book. So tell me the title of your book and what's it about.
Okay, it's called The Most Beautiful Shade of Green, and it's about two sisters. They they're twins, and they're really close until one day one becomes really famous, and her sister gets jealous, and they get into a fight, and then years go by, and the sister that instigated the fight with her famous sister realizes her famous sister has been missing for about 6 years. And so the book revolves around themes of sibling rivalry, jealousy, greed, friendship. And the moral of the story is like, you shouldn't let greed or anything get in between your sister, your friend. And because that's what happened to the two characters. And yeah,
So is this fiction? Is this or is this?
oh yeah, I forgot. So sorry. It also talks it's kind of based on a true story. It's based on my story. And I had a friend go missing. We were both in the import modeling scene, and
Okay.
then she got really more famous and then went missing. And then it had to do with, so the book talks about how there are predators in that import modeling scene.
Yeah.
For example, a lot of directors for pornography would pretend they were photographers and then lure girls in. So I wrote about that, and then so that's where the climax of the book comes in, because we're like, what happened to her sister? What happened to Emerald? And like what did she encounter? And so that's what the book is really about. And yeah, it's like based on a true story, but it's really fiction. It's fiction.
But
That's my
based on your-
story. I'm
yeah, so
sticking to it.
yeah, it's inspired. So when does it come out?
Mm, Christmas. It'll be in Barnes and Nobles by Christmas. And it's called The Most Beautiful Shade of Green because the main character's name is Emerald.
Ah. Is this your first book that you've written?
Yeah, it is. I wrote it when I dropped out of nursing school. I wanted to compensate somehow. So I ended up bunkering down and writing a book in like 2 months.
Wow.
And that's not like you. You wrote a book in 1 month.
No, I took 9 weeks. That's a full 2 months and a week. Not recommended,
I
right?
thought I could have sworn because on the beginning of karaoke you have your video, and I was thinking that in the beginning it says, what did I do? I wrote that book in record time, and I thought it was 1 month you wrote it in.
No, 9 weeks. My first book took me 6 months to write, and I did this one in like 2.
Wow, that's
not a lot of time.
So you know what it's like to write a book really quickly, but yours is really good. I have it right here.
Aw, Olivia.
I love it. So I wanted to ask you, John.
Okay.
I was wondering what would it take to have a virtual meetings companion?
Oh, that's a good question. It's now just past the 2-year anniversary of the book, and we're trying to decide what to do next.
Yeah.
The next book we're talking about, though, is kind of like the book that's based on Turn on the Cameras, which is talking about there's a huge trend right now, people who want to make virtual meetings better, but they don't want any additional tech, right? They don't want to do any of these cool crafty things anymore, right? Even the filters, like I'll be curious to see how many people would want to do that, just because it's another tech thing to learn, and like people seem to be over wanting to learn another tech thing. So there's a whole bunch of things that we're talking about. There's a lot of ways that you can make a virtual meeting more engaging that require no additional tech besides what we have now, right? Your camera's on, you have a good connection, or you have your mic and so forth. And so anyway, so that seems to be one of the big trends that's going on. That might be the companion book, because in my book there's a whole bunch of tech things to do, and I think people are like over that. So now I would like to share all these non-tech things that you can do to make it better, and we do them, almost all of them, on karaoke, right? You've seen them. Actually, this is a good question. Where's your love of karaoke come from?
What would I let you guess? And let the audience guess, like if they can tell a little bit, or just by looking at me, like, where does my love of karaoke come from?
Well, then I gotta go. Then that guy's gonna go, because I know that Olivia is one of our proud Filipinos in the group.
Yes. That's a true stereotype. All Filipinos love karaoke. We love our karaoke.
Well, and we do actually have our guest, of course, from the Philippines, right? Jorge from
Jorge.
the Philippines comes in, and I love that you actually speak Tagalog, right?
Konti lang.
And so, so when did you grow? Did you grow up speaking?
Well, it's funny. I was born in Daly City, but when I was growing up until 5, I could not speak English, even though I was born in California. Yeah, I could only speak Tagalog.
Oh.
And then I grew up even more, and then I forgot. I couldn't speak Tagalog as well as I did, and then I became very fluent in English.
But you still speak both, right? Fluently.
Yeah, like just Tagalog. I have an American accent, and it's kind of embarrassing. So I get told, like, stop trying too hard. Do you get that, John, when you try to speak Chinese?
Oh, they already know that I'm a rookie. That's the other part.
Okay.
I get the empathy part for trying. Although when I go to China, the worst part is that I have to spend most of my time apologizing. Right, that's the one thing you have to memorize, because you have to be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak." And
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But Oh, but I'm really thankful you shared your project with me. I'm excited to read the next companion. And then yeah, I think you're right about that. You're so on top of trends. You got to teach me how to stay woke, John. I don't know. You are the most woke person I know. You predicted this 20 years ago.
Oh, well, there's that. I got lucky on that one, but there's other.
20 freaking years ago. What the
I,
heck?
I mean, most of the time I'm looking at trends. I'm like watching my kids to see what's happening, and because they're like predicting almost everything else that was about to happen. Everyone's
That's
going to be
so
on their
cool.
phone, right? All these other types of things. I think that go with that. Um,
Can I copy their stock portfolios?
they're pretty. I don't know if they're
Let
investing.
me
That's a good question. I'll have
They
to.
should be. They sound like they should be. But John, I
But
wanted to ask you one question before. I think we're out of time, aren't we?
oh no, we're good.
Okay, I wanted to ask you, wait, what do you I mean I'm asking because I make them and I'm not trying to ride your lightning, or how did they say it? This steal your thunder, something like that. But I do make notebooks on Canva, and I was wondering, like, what if, because you said people are over things, but then what if you made it more engaging, like when they read the book, like they had a workbook companion?
Oh yeah, for sure. So if you're
No,
saying,
and I don't have to be the one to do it. I was just pitching it to you. Like, what do you think about that if your books had a workbook companion? Because I love to read a book and have a workbook companion, and then as I'm reading the book and doing the assignments, I retain the information a little better. So I
it,
was just wondering.
it'd be really cool to have a companion because there's so many different kinds of virtual meetings. And the key here is that one of the people ask me all the time, like, what are the important parts of a meeting? And a lot of it happens before the meeting even starts, which is the planning for it. Like a karaoke, we have a theme every week, right? We kind of have a structure to it. And that's developed over the last 2 years. But companion to me would have some things like one would have like a list of like simple things you could do in a meeting. The next one might actually help you plan like a whole meeting. Like people quite often have
Yeah.
like a 1 hour work meeting, and so here are some different templates that you could use to like shake up your meetings, because that's the other part now too. A lot of people are burned out or they're bored, but it's because everyone does the same thing. It's like the makeup, or it's like your filters, right? It's like somebody finds one thing that works and then everybody copies it, and then it's boring at that point. So now you got to be one of the pioneers to show something new. And so
Oh,
yeah, that
okay.
could definitely work. We have a lot of friends who are doing that. My friend Jimbo with a box, we're actually talking about using his box. I don't know if you remember that part of the program where you can actually put a box on top of your head.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I have it. I have it. It's downstairs. But yeah,
So
I have the box. Yeah, that was cool.
we're talking about using the box as a new way to design a virtual meeting, and having you think about it from different perspective before the meeting starts. So that way you could think about it not just from your own perspective, but right now the neurodivergent is kind of the big word. There are two, or which basically, how do you design a meeting and make sure it's engaging to all the different kind of people that you can have on your meeting. So there's introverts, extroverts, and lots of other different types. And so that's the one thing his box actually does really well. We also looked at like things that like would energize your meeting, and then things that take away. Right. So things that energize your meeting are like when, other people participate and we do fun stuff. Things that take away is like people having tech problems when they're presenting and, saying bad things. Those are all like things that detract from a meeting. And so we got to like look about how can we get more of those things that would add to the meeting. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your Navy. You served in the Navy. Can I ask you, like, when did you serve and what did you do?
You won't believe this, but I got in um Valentine's Day.
You
It was
started on Valentine's Day?
yeah, it was horrible. I had a boyfriend at the time that I really loved, and I had to go away on Valentine's Day, and on top of that, I had to stay up all night for watch, and it was my first day. It's just horrible. But I'll be honest, serving in the United States Navy was the most honorable on it was the most it was such an honor and a privilege, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. And I was a hospital corpsman.
Oh, you worked in the hospitals, right?
Yeah, so I was the one that, they called us the doctor to the Marines, and I laughed because I'm like, "Hey, mom, like who's a doctor?" No, but really, we were more like EMT, LVN. I don't know why they called us the doctors to the Marines. The only thing accurate about that is that I worked with a lot of Marines. So
What do you think that you learned from your time in the Navy?
gratitude,
Yep.
just yeah, learning gratitude, just the small things. I had a roommate I couldn't get along with,
Yeah.
and I went to talk to the chaplain, and I told the chaplain, I can't do this, like it drives me nuts. And it was just because I didn't want to share my room. She had nothing to do with her, but I just didn't want a roommate. And then but my favorite lesson was that he said, ask yourself how you can be a blessing to her. And then I was like, that's very
Hmm.
interesting advice. It was counterintuitive, but it works. I apply it a lot to everyday life. Like if someone is being mean to me, I ask how can I be a blessing to them instead of aggravating them further. And
And what was your answer back then? What did you do, or how?
oh gosh, I was like, I just stayed quiet, but I was like, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, like eventually it rubbed off on me. And I say gratitude because it was like learning lessons like that was a big part of Be My Service. And just I grew up from a poor family. I think the reason I didn't want to share a room was because I shared a room with my mom until I was 21. And yeah, so the Navy, being able to buy groceries from Whole Foods, because of my Navy paycheck, I was full of gratitude. Yeah, like it was little things like that, that
Oh,
and learning discipline. And although I still am California sober, it was kind of refreshing to have that period of time, like not drinking or smoking.
well, here, look, you're a blessing to us. I have your picture
With
here.
that, oh, you're so sweet. The filter is gonna morph.
That's right. Well, thank you, of course, for, for your service.
Oh,
Um,
thank you, John.
you've seen what's happened in these last couple of years here on virtual. I'm just kind of curious. What do you think is going to happen in the future? Do you have any idea or like wishes for things that you want to see on virtual?
Well, we all know what my wish is, and your friend over at Zoom probably knows. He's probably like, oh, he's probably working on it right now. He's like, I'm gonna buy the Instagram filters for our company. I'm just kidding. You know what? I have to ask though. I think maybe it hasn't gained momentum, or people haven't been talking about it because maybe um it's just not going to ever reach that point where people care that much about how they look on camera. I don't know. What do you think?
I think people are going to continue to care about how they look on camera, and if you end up staring at yourself half of the day. So I think that anything that will help that, people are interested
Okay.
in. People are
Yeah.
already interested in the filters that we've shown them, and that's not even half of, I think, what people really can do, right?
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious. I was like, as we went on and I was like thinking, it's been how long since the pandemic, and still no better solution. So how important was it really? Was that just an illusion in my mind that it was important? So
Missed
um
opportunity. Maybe nobody did it, right? Which is like, if there was a real way to do it and do it well,
they're
I
probably, well, maybe as we speak it's happening. But yeah, so I guess another wish would be that you get the recognition that you deserve because you predicted this 20 years ago. That would be great. That you be dubbed king of all internet. That is another. And then I what I really like is I hope that it stays, as the world opens up again. I do like people to people interaction, but I also it's been a godsend to have online meetings and have that convenience of staying home, and that extra time that you lose when you have to commute. And I like that, and it's allowed me to have friends like you. Like I have a karaoke family and I have my book club. We meet online every Wednesday.
You're
And
what? You're in a book club? What?
yeah, and it's all from meetup.com.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I have a book club and I have a writers meetup, and we're all over the United States. There's no way we would be able to meet in person, but we and because of this what's the word I'm looking for? This thing that brings us together. Like we're not apart, even though we are. So I think those are my wishes, is that it stays, you get recognition, and then there's better Zoom filters.
All right. If people only remembered one thing from this interview, what's the one thing you want them to remember?
What's the one thing I want them to remember, or what do I want them to forget?
I'll give you both. I'll give you one of each.
Okay. Please forget that I didn't make my room nice and I don't have. Hold on, John. Can I do this real quick? Wait. Ta-da!
What is this?
This is my background that I made for because when I was in class, we all had an assignment was to make our wallpaper for. So yeah, I just did something. I just threw it together. But yeah, no, I should have done that instead of. Please forget, you guys, if you could forget that my room was a mess. And if you could remember that you know what John emphasizes in his everyday lessons when it comes to meeting online, is that time is very precious, and you know, if you can save time and stay at home instead of traveling all over the world, why not do it? So that's what I want everyone to remember. Like it's kind of been a gift. Like as sad as everything has been, there has been some good out of it. Like we've evolved as a human species, and like we've just found more ways to save time. So that's just great. And we're all about saving time, aren't we? It's like that's the human condition. So like want to save time, cut corners, better, faster.
Save time, cut corners, but make connections. And by the way, Olivia, we're going to be in the Bay Area in December. So hopefully we're going to figure out a time for real to actually see if we can see each other.
You bet. No, that's not okay. So, you know, we're going to make it happen this year. It's been 3 years now. This will be the third year if I miss you this third year. And I'm not, a third time's a charm. So I'm very excited. I'm glad you told me and for everyone to see my reaction. It's very genuine. I'm very excited. Whereabouts are you going to stay? Your old hometown?
No, I'll be around Cupertino, or the like South Bay, Cupertino, San Jose. So
okay, that'll be nice. That'll be really wonderful.
If you're lucky, you'll be there on the day where you can make candy with Donna.
Oh, do you guys have family out there?
Yeah, I have family out there.
So. Okay, okay. Hopefully, I'm invited to make candy.
All right, thank you, Olivia. Good to see
John.
you.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I'm really thankful, and you really made me feel so special today. Thank you so much, John.
You're welcome, Olivia. All right, let's see. We're finishing up our interview with Olivia Vanessa Baumgart. And again, thank you again for your services. It was Veterans Day here just a few days ago, and we're so glad. Hey, if you want to be in an interview here too, click the button, and you can also just select interview. And I'm just looking to interview other people in our community, our virtual community here, because I want to meet you. Otherwise, stay safe and have an amazing holiday season. We'll see you next time. Don't start people and keep people. Show you got heart. Now